and that give you, okay, that's it. I do the practice quiz today, and then you do the take-home one, and the actual quiz is going to be on coming Wednesday, okay? What we did, we used the complex numbers, remember, to solve the equations. So you should be prepared. If an equation is given to you, you should be able to find all the solution for us. So I'll just give you one more example or the complex solutions, and then I go to the new one. Okay, so just remind you from the one that we did the other night. So if we ask you find all solutions on the test, on the quiz, all solutions, but we mention real or complex. Real or complex, this means if there is a possibility for the complex numbers, you have to do it, okay? So especially for this quiz. So 5 all questions. If we don't say this, if we ask you find the real solutions only, you don't need to find the complex numbers, okay? The complex solution for us. Okay, so we want to find all solution, real or complex, of the equation, okay, of the equation. So this equation is going to be, I have something like, it's similar from your book, 16t squared minus 4t plus 3 equal to the 0. Okay, this is the equation that we are interested in. It's a quadratic equation. Remember, you form the discriminant first to see what type of question do you have, and then we take care of it. Okay, solution. And that's it. So your A is 16, the coefficient of the t squared. Your B is a negative 4, and your C is a positive 3. So we form the delta to see what type of question, what type of solutions we have. So delta is B squared minus 4AC. So substitute, use parentheses, it's going to be negative 4 all squared minus 4 AC, A is 16, C is 3. Okay, simplify it. So delta is going to be equal to negative 4 squared would be 16. So the sign is negative here. Okay, so there you are. 4 times 16 would be 48. Okay, so that give you 64, sorry, 64, and it's going to be 3 times 64. So it's going to be 3 times 64, which is going to be a negative number. Okay, so this is it. It's going to be minus 3 times 4 would be 12, 18, 19. Okay, and if you subtract, so that give you negative, so that give you a 6, and okay, so it's going to be 176. I think that's one. Rather unusual, but it's not bad. So we get the 16t squared minus 4t plus 3. Okay, but anyway, it's a negative number. So it's a negative 176. It's negative. So there is no real solution. Okay, there is no real solution, but we have to find all the solutions. So that is going to be the case. Okay, so there is, this is it. There is no real solution. Okay, real solution. But since they say all complex, if they didn't see this one, so you stop. But since they say complex, so you have to continue to get the complex solutions. So you bring the formula x equal to negative b plus or minus radical delta over 2a. Now we substitute, it's going to be x equal to the negative b. B is a negative 4, it's going to be negative 4. Okay, negative 4 plus or minus the square root of delta. Okay, which is going to be negative 176. Okay, it's going to be 176 divided by 2a, which is going to be 2 times 2 times 16. 2 times 16, so x is equal to negative would be positive, so we get a 4, it's a plus or minus. Now we take care of this. For the complex numbers, remember, we replace that negative sign by I squared. So we make it into the 176 I squared. Okay, I squared over 32. Then we try to simplify it, so it's going to be x equal to, we have the 4 plus or minus, okay, I squared would be I, so we bring it out. So it's going to be 176 divided by 32. 176 is not going to be a perfect square. We can simplify it a little bit. So it is divisible, for example, by 4, okay, and maybe by 8. 4 would be better. So, we just put it out to 4. You may be able to simplify it a little bit. You see, this is going to be 176. 176 is going to be 4 times, okay, if you divide it by 4, so that give me 4 times 4 would be 16, 44. Okay, so that would be 44. And you can write it down as 16 times 11 if you like. Okay, so don't use your calculator, you know that. It's going to be 4 plus or minus. You see, so radical 176 would be 16 times 11. So you pull out the 16, that give you 4 radical 11. Okay, plus or minus 4 radical 11, but times I over 32. Any question? So I just want to simplify it. It's a complex number, so you break it. It's a 4 over 32 plus or minus 4 radical 11 over 32 and I. Now you simplify by 4, so that give you 1 over 8 plus or minus radical 13 over 8 I. That would be the final. This is one of the problems from your book, in fact. Okay, I just wanted to know that you be prepared for it. When they ask for the complex solutions, they want all the solutions. So you have to go through it to get the numbers. Okay, any question? And we have a couple of them in your practice quiz, and more on that take-home one that I gave you. Okay, so that's complex numbers. This section 1.6, there are various equations, but we are going to be interested in just a couple of them. The most famous one is going to be polynomial equation. So it's a 1.6. In your book, it's they call other type. Okay, other types of equation. Others means other than quadratic. Other types of equations. There are equation containing the radicals. You know it from the past. We are not interested in. But the one that we are going to be very much interested for future is a polynomial equation. There is one chapter again, when we go on, chapter 4, we come back to this type of the equation, but for the time being, we can take care of it. So what is a polynomial equation? Okay, polynomial equations. Remember, a polynomial is just a combination of powers of x. Okay, so if you have so this is going to be a definition of a polynomial equation. You have seen it in algebra. So if p of x is a polynomial, can you give us an example of a polynomial, anybody? Example of a polynomial? Combination of powers of x. The polynomial of x is like x squared minus 4x plus 5. It's a polynomial. X cubed minus x squared plus 5x minus 1 is a polynomial. Okay, it's just a combination of power of x. It must be, integer power. So if p of x is a polynomial, then this equation, p of x equal to the 0, is going to be called, okay, it's called a polynomial equation. A polynomial equation. It's used, it's going to be quite useful in calculus, pre-calculus, whatever you want to do next. We need this type of equations. Okay, if p of x is a polynomial equation, then p of x equal to the 0 is a polynomial equation. Now, how are we going to solve this type of equation? We can use factoring to solve it. Okay, so one can use, as in algebra, can apply factoring. Okay, factoring method, okay, to solve this equation. To solve the equation, the polynomial or a polynomial equation. Okay, when you write it down, you have seen it before, but this is the way it's going to be. And we give you one question, a couple of them in your quiz, and you have some very nice list on that take-home one that I posted for you. Okay, so example, we wanted to solve each equation. Solve each equation. And that's it, the type 1. So this is the one that we use in calculus every day. So the equation is 4x cubed minus 4x cubed minus 36x equal to the 0. It's a very famous equation for that course. You see, this is a polynomial equation because of the x cubed that you see over here. As soon as you see the x cube, you try to factor it. Okay, as I told you, these are very special one. In chapter 4, we give you all the possibility. We have such a nice method to take care of it. But for the time being, we just use factoring. For the factoring, you can use the common factor. So we look for the common factor over here. So the common factor would be 4x. You pull out the common factor and then try to finish it. So the solution would be, so we pull out the 4x, so that gives x squared minus 9 equal to the 0. You can stop or you can continue with the x squared minus 9. So it's going to be 4x times x minus 3 times x plus 3 equal to the 0. So we have 3 factors, 1, 2, 3. Each factor would give you one solution. So the first factor, 4 times x equal to the 0. So your x would be 0 divided by 4. But 0 divided by 4 is 0. So x equal to the 0 is the solution to this one of the solution. Any question? I've seen some of people, they say, oh, I dropped the x. You cannot drop the x, remember. They say, I divide by x. You can divide by 4. If I give you a pizza, you cannot divide the pizza by x. So make sure don't divide by x because you will lose one of your solution. Okay, for x, one factor, one solution. The other one is x minus 3 equal to the 0. So that gives you x equal to 3. This is your second solution. And the last one, x plus 3 equal to the 0. So you solve for x, so that gives you x equal to negative 3. Okay, so you did the equation and solving the equation using factoring method. So you must look for the common factor first. That's a case 1. Any question? A case 2, you may use another method of factoring. Okay, so for the case 2, we are going to check this one. X cubed. Okay, x cubed minus 5x squared. 5x squared minus 2x plus 10 equal to the 0. This is another one. Again, we look for the common factor. There is no common factor. Okay, but the terms, the number of the terms, 1, 2, 3, 4. When you have 4 terms, you try to group them together. Remember, grouping method for factoring. So we try it. The grouping method means we are going to group these two together and these two together. We factor it to be able to see if we can create a new common factor. Okay, so the solution would be, the common factor between these two would be x squared. So we pull out the x squared. The leftover is going to be x minus 5. Okay, so you're looking for x minus 5. You're looking for x. This is negative 2x. So you pull out the negative 2. So that gives you x minus 5. Okay, as you can see, you have a new factor. You see, you have a new factor here. So the common factor, you pull it out, x minus 5 times the leftover. The leftover is going to be x squared minus 2 equal to 0. Any question? So you may be able to find the factor right away, like this one. But otherwise, you may have to use grouping method. So, you can go on, factor x squared minus 2 into x minus radical 2 and plus, or just leave it as is. So the first factor would give you x equal to the 5, one solution. The second factor give you x squared minus 2 equal to the 0. So that would be x squared equal to 2. You take the square root, so x would be positive negative root 2. So you are going to have 3 solutions. Okay, remember, you can use, these square root of 2, 3. That would be fine to use these type of ideas. Okay, any question? So this is briefly what it is going to be, the one that we call it, polynomial equation. As I told you, you are going to be very restricted for the time being. So you are going to have a very nice one. You see, these are very nice examples. But it's not the case that all of them are going to be nice, but we have to wait. We wait, and then we took care of all the possibilities. So that's a polynomial types. Any question? The other type of the equation is, again, a rational equation. We already talked about it. So you are going to have some special one over here because we didn't know the quadratic formula officially. So some rational equations again. I give you an example to see what's the difference between this group and the one that we did the other night. Okay, so example you want to solve. We want to solve this equation. The equation is 7 over x, okay, minus 2 is equal to, on the other side we have the 10 over 3x minus 1. You see, these are the ones that we did the other night, but they were very mild one. The difficulty was that we get the x down the denominator. Okay, so we talk about something that we call it the domain of the equations. The domain was the fact that x cannot be equal to the 0 here, and x cannot be equal to the 1/3, so we are going to be careful. But to solve this equation, you have to remove the fractions first. In order to remove the fractions, you have to multiply by the common denominator. Remember, we have 2 factors for the denominator. One is going to be x, the other one is going to be 3x minus 1. So the common denominator would be the product of these 2 factors. Okay, so the solution is going to be, so the least common denominator, you see, you can think about the denominator here, it's 1. So the least common denominator would be x times 3x minus 1. Okay, start multiplying both sides of the equation by x times 3x minus 1. So 1 by 1, it's going to be x times 3x minus 1. Okay, multiply by 7 over x, 7x. Okay, that's it, minus, again, x times 3x minus 1. Okay, times it with a negative 2 equal to, again, it's x times 3x minus 1. Okay, times it by, it's going to be 10 over 3x minus 1. Any question? So make sure, I gave this one on the test. You know, some people, they didn't multiply the middle one. And they say because there is no fraction. No, it's a balance operation. It's an equation. So whatever you do to one side or one term, you have to do to the all of them. Okay? Now that gives you the chance to simplify. Simplify. You see this x and x would cancel out. So the leftover is going to be 7 times 3x minus 1. Okay, the next one, nothing to simplify. So it's a negative, negative, positive. So it's a positive 2x times 3x minus 1. Okay, we go to the other side. We simplify 3x minus 1 and 3x minus 1 would cancel out. So the leftover is going to be 10 times x, which is a 10x. Okay, any question? So we did the fractions or the fractions out. So distribute parentheses, you have to remove the parentheses. So it's going to be 7 times 3, which is going to be 21. Okay, this is the next step. So that gives you 21x, and you multiply minus 7. Okay, you multiply this one. You multiply, go forward. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 6, but it's going to be 6x squared. Okay, and this is going to be minus 2x. Minus 2x equal to the 10x. Okay, combine the like terms. So start with the 6x squared. Combine the like terms, 21 minus 2, so that gives you 19. It's a 19x minus 7 equal to the 10x. Okay. Now the next step is, since you see the x squared here, so you have to move everything to one side of the equation. Okay, so that's a 6x squared. 20 minus 2, 19. So subtract the 10. So that gives 6x squared plus 19x. Okay, minus 10x minus 7 equal to the 0. So combine the like terms, that give you 6x squared. Okay, so that gives you 6x squared. And over here is going to be plus 9x. Plus 9x minus 7 equal to, okay, equal to the 0 to get this number.
Question.
Yes, I missed something.
So the -2 and the negative at the top, above that, how come we didn't, above that?
This one?
Yes, so the negative and the -2, the -2 stay there, and then it'd be
No, you see we have a -2 here, okay? So the -2 times negative would be positive, so that gives you 2x, okay?
yeah, but where did that negative come from, if not from the -2?
Oh, yes, I know what you mean. Very good, yes. I've already got the sign here, thank you. I've already got the sign here, so that must be positive. Okay, so let's see what would happen now. So this must be negative sign. Yeah, I was surprised because this must be 13. So repeat it again, it's a -7. So we multiply these two together. So this would be negative. Thank you. Okay, and it's going to be negative, positive. So this could be positive. Okay, so we are going to have a negative 6x squared here. And so what else we are going to have? And that is give us a 21 and 2, which is going to be 23. Yes. 7 times 3 would be 21. So this would be 23. Okay, so it's going to be 23, and so that's a negative 6x squared, negative 6x squared. So I have a positive 2, negative positive. So that give me 23. I rewrite it. 23x, okay, minus 7. So what is going to be next? This is going to be 23. So I would get what I should. That give you 13. Thank you. 13x, okay, so eventually I missed that. It's a 6x squared plus 13x, okay, plus 13x minus, this is a negative 6x squared, of course. It's a negative 6x squared plus 13x minus 7 equal to the 0. Thanks. Okay, any question? Now, you see the point is about this last part that we have. It's going to be quadratic equation. If you like, you can multiply everything by a negative sign. If you don't like this negatives here. So we change the signs. It's going to be 6x squared minus 13x. And this is going to be a plus 7 equal to the 0. Okay, you can factor it, but intentionally, I'm going to use quadratic formula to get it. There is a shortcut if you need it from algebra. You see the coefficients, 6, 7, and 13. If you add them together, that gives you 0. When this situation happens, one solution is 1, the other solution is 7, 6. But I just want to use the quadratic formula to show you that sometimes you may have to solve it, okay, using the quadratic formula. So we can use factoring. If you factor it, that gives x minus 1, okay, x minus 1 times 6x plus 7, or just quadratic formula. I used quadratic formula, okay? But this is a very popular problem, and you have one in your practice quiz, and I'm going to check it in a minute. Okay, so I go with the delta, which is going to be b squared minus 4ac. So this is a negative 13 squared minus 4ac, 4 times 6 times 7. So that gives you 169, okay? 169, and that must be 168, which is equal to 1, okay? So it's a nice number. So your x is equal to negative b, okay, negative b plus or minus radical delta over 2a. And if you substitute, it's going to be negative 13 plus or minus radical 1 over 2a, which is going to be 2 times 6. Okay, you continue on the top. It's going to be 13. Radical 1 would be 1 divided by 12. So you have two solutions. If you go with the positive, so that gives you 13 plus 1, 13 plus 1 over 12. And the bottom one give you 12 over 12, which is equal to the 1. 13 plus 1 would be 14. Okay, 14, 12. I'll put it on the top. It's going to be 14, 12, which is going to be 7, 6, as we talk about it. So x equal to the 7, 6, one solution. Okay, x equal to the 1 is going to be second solution. Okay, as I told you, you can factor it right away. If you are good in factoring, we accept it. X minus 1 times 6x plus 7, but otherwise, the quadratic formula is available. So you can use it if you like it. Okay, so this is two groups of the equation that we like from this section really, because these are the one that we are going to use in future, nothing else. Okay, so that will cover whatever we need from this section. Now we can go on that practice quiz, which is a very important one. I want to make sure we get enough time to do it. And then you have the take-home quiz number 1, which is yours. So let me bring it up and show you. Then I go over it. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do for you. Okay, can you see it? This is it, practice quiz number 1. As you can see, there are 6 topics here, and we give you 1 question from each setting. Okay, so you get 6 sets of question, and you answer 5. You can answer all the 6, okay? Leave it to me. I will grade it first, then I will add the best 5 for you. So these are the topics that you got to know. The circle, symmetric property of the equation, complex numbers, solving all sorts of the equation, completing the square method, and the quadratic formula. Okay, so I'm going to go over this one. Practice quiz number 1. You have similar one, take-home quiz number 1 is going to be yours. Okay, so let's go back to my notebook and I follow that. Okay, that quiz. Didn't get it. Yes, we come back here. Okay, this is your job for the quiz. Okay, you keep the solution of this practice quiz, because after your quiz in 2 weeks time, you're going to have a test. And when with the test, we don't review the part of the quiz anymore. So you should have it, studied it, okay? So this is it. So this is going to be practice quiz. Okay, practice quiz number 1. Solution of the practice quiz number 1. So question number 1. Question number 1, we would like you to identify the center and the radius of each circle. Okay, so identify the center. Okay, the center and the radius of the circle. There are going to be 2 types. Type 1 is a standard equation, nothing to worry about. So that's going to be part 1. And the equation of a circle is x plus 1 all squared plus y minus 3 all squared equal to the 4. That's it. Okay, just to remind you the equation of a circle. Remember, the equation of a circle is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equal to the r squared. So you compare them together to get the center. Okay, so the center is h and k, if you like, hk, which is equal to, you see, compare them together, the opposite sign. This is a positive one, so the h would be a -1, comma, and this is a -3, so the k would be 3. So this is going to be the center of your circle. Any question? And you compare r squared equal to the 4, so r would be equal to 2. So the circle centered at the -1 and 3 with the radius of 2. They ask you to graph it. So this is going to be how we are going to graph. We identify the center, -1 and 3, -1, -1, 3, 1, okay, 1, 2, 3. So this is going to be the center of a circle. So the radius is 2. 2 units to the right, 2 units to the left. Okay, this is 2 units to the right, 2 units to the left, 2 units down, okay, and 2 units up. So these are going to be, you just connect them together. Okay, connect them together somehow, and that would be the circle. Okay, we sketch the graph. We don't need any intercepts, anything. Give some idea of a circle and we accept it. Okay, any question? That's a type 1. We give it true. The other type is the equation is not a standard. Okay, so you have to change it. That's completing the square method that we talk about it. So that's a part B. It's x squared plus y squared minus 6x minus 4y equal to 3. Okay, this is the one that it's not in a standard form. The standard form is this one. We need to complete the square here. So the way we do it, remember, you put the x's together, solution. We put the x squared minus 6x together. And then we put the y squared minus 4y together, equal to 3. So the quickest way to do it is, you see this is going to be twice of what we are looking for. We divide this one by 2. It's going to be negative 3. So the first factor would be x minus 3 all squared. When we square it, we get x squared. We have it. 2 times 3 times 6, negative 6x. We have it. And negative 3 squared, which is a positive 9. So there is going to be a positive 9 here, but there is no positive 9. So we put the negative 9 to kill it, okay, to make it even. Any question? So you divide this one by 2, that gives you the number, x minus 3 squared. But you see when you square it, we get 3 terms, x squared minus 6x plus 9. So we put the negative 9 here, so the plus 9 and the negative 9 cancel out. That's done. Any question? Next, we do the same thing. We divide this one by 2. That gives us a negative 2. So we put y minus 2 all squared. Again, you have to pay for it. So what's going to be the one? Negative 2 squared would be a positive 4. So in order to eliminate it, we put the negative 4 here, equal to the 3. Move the 9 to the other side, the numbers to the other side. So x minus 3 squared plus y minus 2 squared equal to 3, 4, 9, 16. Okay, so there you are. Center, opposite sign 3, opposite sign 2. That's the center. Radius 4. You're done. Any question? So we give you now one from each type. The standard right away and the other one. You know that the graph of this one is again roughly, it's going to be 1, 2, and 3, 3 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So that's going to be the center. 4 units to the right, to the left. Okay, this is it. 4 units, 4 up, 4 down. You know, this is going to be almost, you know, the graph. This is going to be the case. Any question? So that is case 1, problem 1 for the circle. There are 4 possibilities. If we put them together for the circle, and we are going to ask you. Okay, that's 1, 2. The other part is the other way around. Some information would be given. They ask you to give us the equation of a circle. You know that there was 2 possibilities, and we have both of them over here. So the first one, part C, you want to find the equation of a circle. You see, find the equation of a circle. Equation of a circle with center. You see the center is given to you. The center is negative 2, comma negative 3, and a point. And a point passing through a point. A point. So I'm going to call that point P. The point P, which is 1 and 4. So that's a, you know, the converse problem, if you like. Okay, center and point through the circle. You know that the equation of a circle, you need the center and the radius. So the radius is missing. So what we're going to do, solution, write the equation of a circle first. So what you have a center, which is a negative 2 and negative 3. So what is this? This is h and k. So your equation is going to be x plus, remember, plus 2 all squared plus y plus 3 all squared equal to r squared. You don't have the r. Okay, now in order to get the r, you need one equation. How are we going to find that equation? You drop the point P, 1 and 4. So x is equal to 1, y is equal to 4. Okay, so there you are. P is 1 and 4. So this means x is equal to 1, y is equal to 4. Substitute. So that gives us 1 plus 2 squared plus 4 plus 3 squared equal to r squared. 1 plus 2 would be 3, 3 squared 9. 4 plus 3, 7, 7 squared, 49, equal to r squared. Okay, so r squared would be 58. So you need the r squared rather than the r. So we go back and we substitute, we get the equation of a circle. Okay, so the equation of the circle is going to be, in the actual one I missed a sign somewhere, and I change it with this one. I can stay with this one. In the given one is positive. I didn't see it. Positive. That would be fine. But if you want to go positive, maybe you get a nice number. Minus. It's the same. So minus. So that give you 1 only. It would be I thought it's a nice number, but it's not. Okay, in the quiz is a -2 and 3. -2 and 3. So that with y minus 3, so you make it into the, r squared is 10. It doesn't matter. So what is the equation of a circle? X plus 2 squared plus y minus 3 squared equal to 10. And then you're done. Okay, it's not a big deal, but it's a very popular problem. Any question? So that's a case 1. The case 1 is a point and a center is given to you. You just drop everything in to get the radius. There is a big one. Okay, these are all the possibilities. Doesn't mean that we give you all of them, but we practice to get all of them. So what's a part D? Remember, in part D, 2 end points of a diameter is given. You want to find the equation of a circle. Okay, so find the circle. Find the equation of a circle. Equation of a circle. Okay, a circle with with endpoints of diameter, where we have 2 points. Let's say the points A is equal to 6, comma, -3, and another point B equal to, B equal to the -4, 1 are going to be end points. Okay, endpoints of a diameter. This is the only other possibility that we have. Okay, remember the way we do it? It's 2 points. Center is in the middle of a diameter. So you have to use the midpoint formula to get the center. Then for the radius, you have 2 choices. You can find a distance between A and B using distance formula that gives you the diameter divided by 2. This is one option. The other option is you just use the previous problem. Okay, so we use the first option, just using the formulas, or you just the second one, you don't mind. But you have to go through the midpoint formulas. Okay, so solution. This is it. I label these points. It's a 6, -3, call it x1, y1. And this is going to be negative 4, 1. I call it x2, y2. So the center is going to be midpoint. So h, the x coordinate of a center, is, remember the midpoint formula, x1 plus x2 over 2. Substitute is going to be 6 minus 4 over 2. So that gives you 2, 2 equal to 1. That's the h. Any question? K, midpoint formula again. So it's going to be y1 plus y2 over 2. So that gives you a negative 3 plus 1 over 2. So that's going to be negative 2 over positive 2, negative 1. Center, 1 and negative 1. So this is going to be the center. Any question? So to get the radius, you have two options. One of them is you pick a point and the center. You find the radius as we did it in this problem. Okay, you have the center, you write it down, you get it. The other option is use the distance formula, find the r. Okay, distance formula, find the r. So if you use distance formula that give you the diameter first, then you have to divide by 2. Okay, we accept both of them. So just to remind you that if you remember the distance formula, you go upload that one. Okay, let's use distance formula just to remind you the nice formula that we have. Okay, so I'm going to use the distance formula to get the diameter length. Okay, so there you are. This is the distance formula. D equal to, remember, it's x1 minus x2 squared. It's an easy formula to remember. y1 minus y2 all squared. Okay, substitute. Remember x1 and x2, we get the a and the b. So d is equal to the square root of x2, x1. x2 was a negative 4 minus, it doesn't matter, x1 minus x2 because you square it. Okay, you square it, you can do it the other way around. So x1 is 6. Okay, if you say with this formula, it's a 6 minus x2 minus negative 4 all squared plus y1 negative 3 minus y2 is 1 all squared. And it doesn't matter, the difference of the x and the difference of the y in any direction that give you the same answer. Okay, so it's going to be equal to, so that give you negative, negative, positive, so it's going to be 6 plus 4, which is 10 squared. Okay, plus a negative 3 minus 1 would be negative 4. Negative 4 squared would be 16. Okay, so we check the first one is going to be 10 squared. And we check the second one would be 16. So it's going to be 100 plus 16, which is going to be a square root of, okay, 116. So that's a diameter. You don't have to simplify it because we square it in a minute. Okay, so the radius is half of the diameter. So this is going to be the radius. Any question? So we use the distance formula to get the diameter. We use the midpoint formula to get the center. Now we are ready. What was the center? Okay, and the center is 1, negative 1. So we are ready to give you the equation of a circle. X minus h minus 1 all squared plus y minus, negative will be positive, equal to r squared. R squared is a square root of 116 over 2 all squared. You square the top and the bottom. If you square the top, you lose the radical. It's 116. Square the bottom, give you 4. So x minus 1 squared plus y plus 1 squared equal to 116 divided by 4. Okay, any question? So it is divisible. That gives you 29, I think that's one. 29. So x minus 1 squared plus y plus 1 squared equal to 29. So that gives you the final answer. Okay, so we have two options for these problems. So we may give you one of them, but you are ready for it. Okay, the endpoint of the diameters, we have quite a lot of assignment on these two, two property, if you like. Okay, so that is topic number 1, circles. Any question? So this is all you have to know really regarding the circle, and you have in that take on one similar one, it's practice. So make sure that those completing the square or finding the coordinate of the center, be able to go through it nicely. And then these endpoints of the diameter, make sure you use the formula correctly, okay? This is minus. When you do the midpoint, it's a plus. Make sure you know it, okay? So that's the first one. Any question? That's topic number 1. Topic number 2, symmetric property, okay? This is it. Number 2, symmetry or symmetric property. Remember, the graph can be symmetric respect to the x, respect to the y, or respect to the origin. If you change the x into the negative x and everything is stay the same, means you go to the right and the left and everything is stay the same, so the mirror is on the y. You get y symmetric. If you change the y to the negative y, you're going up and down. Everything is stay the same, so the mirror is on the x-axis. So it's going to be x symmetric. But if you change x to the negative x, and at the same time changing y to the negative y, the mirror is at the origin. How are we going to check it? You look at the power of the x, powers of the x and the y. If the powers of the x happen to be even, change x into the negative x. If all the powers of the y happen to be even, change y into the negative y. Otherwise, change both of them. Okay, so you have to show us, you get the symmetric property. Okay, so you are going to have one symmetric property for this problem, so don't waste your time. As soon as you find it, and use this shortcut that we talk about. Okay, so look for the even powers. So that's the idea of this problem. So they give you 3, we may give you 4 on the quiz. So the first problem, equation is y squared. Okay, y squared equal to the x cubed plus 7x. Look for the even power. You see the power of the y is even. It's just for your information, remind you what you look for. Note that the power of y is even. So you check y to the negative y. Because when it's even, you know that it doesn't matter. It's stay the same. But you have to show us. So it's a negative y all squared equal to the x cubed plus 7x. Negative y squared would be y squared. So we change it, nothing happened. So y to the negative y is up and down. So it's up and down, nothing happened. So it's x symmetric. Okay, so the graph is x symmetric, means symmetric respect to the x-axis. And you're done. You don't have to check the other two. Some people on the quiz, they check against the, x, replace the x by negative x, do but no, you already got the symmetric property, you're done. You must look for the even power. Even power stay the same, when you change it. Any question? So that's the case one. Case two, or the part B. Part B. Part B, we have y equal to x to the 6 minus x squared plus 2. Look for the even power. The powers of the x are even, so change x to the negative x. X to the negative x, you go to the right, to the left, it's going to be y symmetric, okay? So again, I remind you, you don't have to write it down on the test. Note that the powers of x are even. So change x to the negative x. Change it, y, use parentheses, negative x to the 6 minus negative x squared plus 2. Everything will stay the same. Because negative to the 6 would be positive x to the 6 minus, inside negative squared would be just positive x squared plus 2. So we change the x into the negative x, everything will stay the same. So the graph is, okay, the graph is y symmetric. Is the mirror is on the y-axis, and it's done. Any question? So just, it's going to be a short form. You don't have to worry about any other case. So that would be part C. Going to the part C. The part C is y equal to x to the fifth. I think that's fifth, yes. X to the fifth. And this is 3x squared plus 1. Okay, x to the fifth, 3x squared plus 1. You want to check this one? Okay, so look at this one. You don't have all the even powers. You see the power of the y is odd. The power of the x, one of them is odd, one of them is even. So we cannot test the case 1 or case 2. So we go to the case 3. Case 3, you replace both of them, okay? So you don't need even powers altogether. So this is it. Check x goes to negative x. At the same time, y goes to the negative y. Okay, so that's the point about, picking the correct methods, to get these. So this would be negative y. And negative x to the fifth, use parentheses, remember. 3x squared, 3 times the negative x squared, plus 1. You test that to see if you can get back to the original one. So that would be negative y as is. On the top, negative to the fifth would be negative, you see, x to the fifth. Down the bottom, negative x squared would be x squared, positive. So that gives it 3x squared plus 1. You see, you have to find the y. You have to solve for y. To solve for y, you just divide by negative sign here. Negative, negative. Okay, if you multiply or divide by a negative sign, so that gives you positive, positive. So that gives you y equal to x to the fifth, 3x squared plus 1. Okay, so if you change x to the negative x and y to the negative y at the same time, you arrive at the original graph or the equation. So the graph is origin symmetric. So the graph is going to be all symmetric. All symmetric, and you're done. Okay, any question? So this is going to be 3 possibilities. You must have one more, so I give you one more because there are 4 possibilities. So we can check this one Add it to your collection. I add it to your quiz later. It's part D. Okay, the part D must be something like y equal to, okay, x to the 7 minus x, but plus 1. Okay, so you want to check this one. Again, it's not the case 1 or case 2 because we have no even power. So the possibility is case 3. Okay, check the possibility for the case 3. Change both of them, x to the negative x, y to the negative y. So the solution is going to be, so we check x to the negative x, okay, and y to the negative y. So y to the negative y would be negative y. So this is it, x to the negative x is going to be negative x to the 7. You must use parentheses, minus negative x and the plus 1. Okay, plus 1. So we check, we have a negative y equal to negative to the 7 would be negative. Minus, you see negative would be positive, plus x plus 1. But remember, you have to solve for y. To solve for y, you have to change the sign. It's a negative sign. So if you change the sign, you see this is going to be positive, this is going to be positive, but this would be negative. Okay, and that would be negative again. So if you switch it, the final answer would be x to the 7 minus x minus 1, which is not the original one. You see, original one is x to the 7 minus x plus 1. But we get x to the 7 minus x minus 1. Okay, so this means this graph basically is not symmetric. You don't have to check the other two because we know that it's not. Okay, so the conclusion is going to be the graph. Okay, the conclusion is the fact that the graph is not symmetric. It's not symmetric. Not symmetric, and we're done. Any question? So these are only 4 possibilities. So, make sure you just use these type of methods to save times. Okay, some people they give me huge writing when they give them the symmetric property. They check all the possibilities one by one. But as I told you, you just check for the even power. If you see the even power, then then you'll be fine. Okay, I'll give you a short break. We come back and we finish it. So that's a 2. We have 4 more to go. Any question? So it's 8:25, 8:35. We come back and we finish it. Okay, so that was a symmetric property. Okay, we're going to continue. The next topic is straightforward operation with the complex numbers. Okay, adding, subtracting, multiplying. We give one question and we check this operation that we have. Okay, so it is number 3, operation with the complex number. Remember, we just combining the like terms in the case of the complex numbers. Anytime we get to the I square, we replace it by -1. The case with the fractions or the division is just the main one. Otherwise, the rest are easy. Okay, so we want to perform. This is it. This is performed operations. You have to write the final answer in a standard form. The standard form means a plus ba. Okay, perform the operation and write the final answer in the standard form. So the first case is just a subtraction, 3 minus 5i, okay, minus 1 plus 3i. Okay, this is going to be the case. So you remove the parentheses and you combine the like terms. So the solution is going to be is equal to, the first one is 3 minus 5i. Apply the negative signs, so we're going to be minus 1 minus 3i. Combine the like terms, start with the numbers. So this is going to be 3 minus 1, which is 2. Negative 5i minus 3i would be negative 8i, the final answer. Okay, a standard form is a plus bi. We put the numbers first. That's a case 1. Any question? That's a subtraction. Case 2, you may have some extra things to do. So it's a 4 minus 2 radical negative 16. Okay, times it by 5 plus radical negative 9. You see this square root with the negative number doesn't make sense. So you have to switch them first to the I and then do the operation. So that's a point about this part. So what we do is a radical negative 16. We replace the negative by I squared, so make it to the radical 16i squared, which is the 4i. And the radical negative 9 would be radical 9i squared. You change it to the 3i. Okay, so we go back. And what we have is 4 minus 2. 2 times 16, so it's going to be 2 times 4i. And this is going to be 5 plus 3i. 2 times 4 would be 8, so you get a 4 minus 8i times 5 plus 3i. You see, that's extra job that we have. We have to switch those radicals, doesn't make sense. We change it to the I. Now it's a product. We just use the FOIL method to multiply it. 4 minus 8i times 5 plus 5i, multiply, go forward, FOIL it. It's going to be equal to, is 4 times 5, which is 20, plus, you know that you multiply, you go forward. This is it. So 4 times 5, 20, and 4 times 3, 12i. So we get the inside. So it's a negative positive, but the negative minus 8 times 5, 40, 40i. And we continue negative positive with the negative, that give you 24. That's going to be 24i squared. Any question? You have to combine the like terms. This is going to be 20. 12 and 40, you are going to subtract. That give you negative 28. Okay, 28i. And this is a negative 24. You replace the I squared by negative 1, so negative would be positive. Make this one into the positive 2. Okay, so the I squared, remember, is a negative 1. Now write it down in a standard form. The standard form, 20 and 24, that give you 44. Okay, 44 minus 28i, the final answer. Remember, the final answer must be written in the form of a plus bi. Any question? So extra job, one of them would have these radicals. You have to remove the radical first, okay, change it into the I format, and then do the job. So that was the FOIL method. Now, the tricky one is the next one. Any question? The tricky one is division. So this is it, 1 plus 3i, okay, divided by 2 minus 5i, 2 minus 5i. You know that we can divide by numbers, a whole number, not complex numbers, okay, or decimals, okay. So what we have to do, we have to change this one into the whole number. In order to do it, remember, you multiply the top and the bottom by the conjugate of the bottom. Conjugate means this is 2 minus 5i, you multiply by 2 plus 5i. Okay, so we have to multiply by conjugate, you have to rewrite it. That's it. So we start with the 1 plus 3i over 2 minus 5i. Now multiply. So multiply the top and the bottom by the conjugate of the denominator. Conjugate would be 2 plus 5i. And you do the same, 2 plus 5i. Now we are going to multiply the top and the bottom. I rewrite it so that you can see it. That you can do it right away. So this is going to be 2 plus 5i. And the bottom one would be 2 minus 5i, okay, times 2 plus 5i. Okay, we are going to use the FOIL method. The top one you FOIL it, the bottom one is a special product. You can use the FOIL if you like. It's a minus b minus a plus b would be a squared minus b squared. So the bottom one would be 4. It's like you multiply these two, and it's minus, you multiply this two. So it's going to be 4 minus 25i squared. So that would be the bottom. The top, we have to FOIL it. Okay, FOIL it, multiply, go forward. 1 times 2 would be 2, plus 5i. When you multiply the 1, you multiply 3i. 3 times 2 would be 6. So we get the 6i. And 3 times 5, 15. So it's going to be 15, but I squared. Okay, any question? So we FOIL the top, and the bottom one, we're just using the special product. Now you have to combine the like terms. So this is going to be equal to the bottom one, this is 4. You replace the I squared by a negative sign, so we change this one to the positive 25. The bottom one, the top, it's a 2. We have the 2i and the 6i, we get 11i. Okay, 11i. And the 15i squared, replace the 15 by a negative sign, so that gives you minus 15. Okay, 5 and 6, 11, and that's a negative 16, negative 15. So we continue. The bottom one would be 29. The top one, 2 and 15 would be negative 13. Negative 13 plus 11, 11i. You're not done. Remember, a standard form. You have to break it. You break it into, this is going to be the final answer. Is equal to the negative 13 over 29 plus 1129i. This is the final answer. Okay, the final answer must be given in a standard form. So the standard form, you have to break it. You have to break it to get these numbers. Okay, so the division is, it takes a little bit more time to do it because you have to multiply the top and the bottom by the conjugate of the denominator. 2 minus I times 2 plus I. Okay, any question? So that's a division. I put the other one because you have a couple of them in your book, just the operation, but these are the standard one. You are not going to get something like the next one, but it's not bad to just show you because you have it in your assignment. Okay, this is D. It's a 3 minus I over 4 minus 3I, and this is plus 4 plus 3I. Okay, and the I on the top. In fact, it's a minus. Okay, 3 minus I, 4 minus 3I. Yes, that's it. You see, it's like the one we do with the fraction. You have to find the common denominator. Okay, common denominator would be, so this is in your book, in your one of the assignment. So the common denominator would be 4 minus 3I times 4 plus 3I. And the top is the kind of cross multiplication, so that gives it 3 minus I times 4 plus 3I minus I times 4 minus 3I. Okay, so lots of algebra. But we already checked all those algebra into the ABC. Okay, you have to distribute, simplify. The bottom one is a special product, so that's easy. So the bottom one would be 16 minus 9I squared. The top FOIL it, 3 times 4 would be 12, plus 9I, you go forward, minus 4I, and the minus 3I squared. Okay, the FOIL, and distribute this one, that give a negative 4I, negative positive, plus 3I squared. Okay, then you simplify it. The bottom one is straightforward, that's a 16. I squared is a negative 1, negative positive, that give a plus 9. On the top, we combine the like terms. You see this, the 3I squared and the 3I squared would cancel out. So I have a 12 here. And this is negative 4I would be negative 8, and the plus 9, so that give you I. So the top would be 12 plus I, the bottom one would be 25. You break it, 12 25 plus 1 over 25, 25I as the final answer. Okay, so just adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing, that's going to be the message that we're going to have. Okay, any question? So that's working with the complex numbers, working with the complex numbers. Then we go to the other part are just solving the equation. We have a different group of the equation. Okay, so we get number 4. It's a kind of a polynomial equation that we talk about it, using factoring to solve it. Okay, number 4. So this is the topic that we did today. You see polynomial equations. So you have to solve this equation using factoring only. Okay, there are a couple of cases. We put them here. Part 1 is x cubed plus 4x squared equal to the 12x. That's type 1. You see, if you want to solve the equation must be equal to 0. Okay, it's algebraic expression equal to the 0. So the first thing to do, you have to subtract 12. Okay, so the solution, it's x cubed plus 4x squared minus 12x equal to the 0. That's the first action. You must have 0 here. One of the reasons that 0 was created was solving the equation. Okay, now we check factoring. In this case, there is a common factor. The common factor is x, so pull out the x. Okay, always use for the common factor. If you cannot find it, you may go for the grouping method. So we pull out the x here. Okay, x out. So that gives us x squared plus 4x minus 12. Now we factor the inside, which is easy to factor. You need two numbers with the product of 12 and the difference of 4. So x is, okay, I think that would be x plus 6 times x minus 2. Okay, you pull out the x first, then the result's going to be a trinomial or a quadratic expression, easily factorable. We have 3 factors. Remember, you are not going to drop the x. So we get x equal to the 0, 1 solution, x equal to the negative 6 from the second one, and x equal to 2 from the last one. 3 solutions. That's a type 1. Any question? So make sure that this is equal to the 0 and factor out the x. Some people, they make a great mistake. They cancel all the x's. They say, I divided by x. They divide by x, and at the end, they give us 2 solutions. X equal to negative 6 and x equal to 2. But this equation would have 3 solutions, 1, 2, 3. So factor, don't divide. And that's the case 1. Any question? Case 2, there are a group of problems of this format in future. That's why we want to see it. Okay, let's see what is special about this case 2. Case 2, we have x to the 4th minus 35x squared, okay, minus 36 equal to the 0. Okay, these are going to be a popular case. We can factor it, you see, but instead of the x, we write it down in this format. You see, this is x squared, and this is x squared. Because you need it to be x to the 4th. So you need 2 numbers with the product of 36 and a difference of 35. Any suggestion for the numbers? Two numbers, product of 36, difference of 35.
Negative 36 and 1.
Excellent, yes. Negative 36 and 1. The product is going to be 36 and the difference is 35. That's it. Okay. So what we are going to do, we let each factor to be equal to 0. You can factor this one again, but you have 2 options. So x squared minus 36 equal to the 0. You can factor it, or you can say x squared equal to the 36. So the x would be positive negative 6. So this would be one solution. The second one is x squared plus 1 equal to the 0. So you know that we say it's non-factorable, but since we talk about complex numbers, so you have to continue and give us the solution, okay? So this would be x squared equal to the negative 1. You know that we change the negative 1 into the I squared. So that gives you x equal to positive negative I. If they emphasize that find only the real solution, you stop here. But they didn't say anything, since they ask only what solve each equation. When they say solve each equation, if there is a complex solutions, you have to find it for us, okay? Remember. But on the test, we emphasize, just make sure that you're not going to miss it. Any question? So that's a very popular case, various numbers that give you. So start with the x squared first, then you simplify it. So that's going to be the case B for the polynomial one. The case C is the one that you have to use grouping method. So that would be x cubed plus 4x squared minus x minus 4 equal to the 0. Cubic equation. Okay, you tried the common factors. There is none. You cannot pull out the x. So you try to group them. So you group these two and these two together to see if you can make a new group. So these two, you pull out the x squared. So the solution is going to be, you pull out the x squared here. So that gives you x plus 4, which is good. And this is it. It's a negative x. You need a positive x. So you pull out the negative sign, make it into x plus 4. It's like factoring a negative 1. Any question? So the common factor is x plus 4. The leftover is x squared minus 1 equal to the 0. You can factor x squared minus 1 further or just leave it as is. So x plus 4, 0. That gives you x equal to the negative 4. Okay, x squared minus 1, 0. That gives you x squared equal to the 1. And then x would be positive negative 1. And then you're done. So we have three solutions, x equal to negative 4 and x equal to the plus or negative 1. Any question? So probably you have seen this type of equation before, but this is it. It's part of the deal. And we need them really if you want to take calculus for business, the next course, all over the places. You will see this type of equation in reports. That's why I just repeat it. In case you want to take that course, then you are ready for it. Okay, so that was question number 4. Now, the other two questions are going to be quadratic equation, two methods. Completing the square is one of them. The other one is quadratic formula or any method you like. But we give you one and we ask you to use completing the square, okay? So we are very much interested in. It's very easy, the method that we use. Okay, so that's number 5. Completing the square. Completing, okay, completing the square method. The square method. They ask you to completing the square method, solve this equation. So since they give you the instruction, you cannot use any other method, remember. So you want to solve. There are going to be two. One, that the coefficient of x squared is 1. The other one, the coefficient of x squared is not 1. So that's it. We give one question, two parts. So the first part. The first part is x squared minus 6x minus 16 equal to 0. See, it's very easy method. This is the way we're going to do it. Remember, you need a perfect square here. This is what you want to create. So what I'm going to do is you move the numbers to the side. The coefficient of x is 1, x squared. So the solution, you move the 16 to the other side. 16. Now you need that perfect square. You see, this is again twice of what we are interested in. Divide this one by 2. That gives you negative 3. Form your squares. X minus 3 all square. You see, but you have to pay for it. Why? Because when you square it, it's x squared, you have it. 2 times first times second, it's a negative 6x, you have it. But there is going to be a negative 3 squared, which is a positive 9, plus 9. There is no plus 9 here. So you put the negative 9 here to cancel it out. That's it. Okay, divide the coefficient of x by 2, you get x minus 3 squared. It's what you want. But when you distribute this one, there is going to be 3 squared. Negative 3 squared is 9. Plus 9, there is no plus 9. So you put the negative 9, so plus 9 and negative 9 would cancel out each other. That's it. Equal to the 16. Any question? Divide the coefficient of x by 2, you get your squares. But check 3 squared, 9. Where is 9? So put the -9 to simplify. Move the 9 to the other side, take the square root. X minus 3 squared equal to the 16 plus 9. Okay, so that gives us x minus 3 squared equal to 25. Take the square root, x minus 3 squared equal to the radical 25. Remember, you can release the radical, but you have to pay for it. This is the absolute value, and this would be 5. So x minus 3 is equal to positive -5. So get 2 cases and give us the solution. So if x minus 3 happened to be equal to the 5, x would be 8, one solution. But there is another case. X minus 3, okay, equal to the -5. So that gives x equal to the -2. So you have two solutions, -2 and 8, using completing the square method. Any question? You know, there is another method just using adding the square to both sides. You can do it if you know it, but I just keep going with this one because this is the type that we use in future. Okay, that's case 1. The coefficient of x squared is 1. We give it 2. The second one, there is a number here. You have to get rid of it first. Okay, so that's part 1. Let's do the part B. Any question? So the part B is something with the coefficient. You got to be a little bit careful with this one. 3x squared minus 5x minus 8 equal to 0. You see, the first thing to notice is this number. You can't do it. You need 1. So divide by 3. Both sides. Divide by 3. If you divide by 3, this 3 would disappear. So that gives x squared minus this 5 would be 5 over 3 x, and this 8 would be 8 divided by 3. That's it. So that coefficient disappears. Now apply the completing the square method. You know that you have to move this one to the other side first. So that gives you x squared minus 5/3 of x equal to the 8/3. Okay, now what is that operation we talk about? It's similar. You divide this one by 2. So this is going to be divided by 2. That gives you what? -5/6. Because it's 3, you divide it by 2 again. So that gives you 5/6. So you have x minus 5/6 all squared. But you have to pay for it. Minus what? You see, a square of the 5/6. 5 squared would be 25. 6 squared would be 36. Any question? Because when you square it, you get the x squared here. 2 times first times second, that gives you 5/3 x. But there is a case that you square this one. You see, you square it, you get 25 over 36. But you don't have it. So I put the negative here. So 25/36 and the 25/36 would cancel out. Okay, so that would be 8/3. That's it. Move this one to the other side, simplify it, and get the result. X minus 5/6 all squared is equal to 8/3 plus 25/36. You have to continue. You need the common denominator. Okay, you have to multiply this one by, what's that, 12? So this is going to be 12. Sorry, this is 36. So the top would be 12 times 8 would be 96. and this is 25, okay, over 36. If you continue on the top, so you get 36, and that give you 121. Nice number. Any question? So what we have? X minus, okay, we have x minus 5, 6, all squared, equal to 121. 121, 36. Now start taking the square and get your final answer. So it's going to be the square root of x minus 5, 6, all squared, square root 121 over 36. This would end up with the absolute value of x minus 5, 6, and that would be the square root of the top over the square root of the bottom. The square root of the top would be 11, the bottom would be 6. So x minus 5, 6 would be equal to the positive negative 11, 6. Any question? So you have to consider two cases to find the x. Okay, so the case one would be x minus 5, 6 equal to the 11, 6 positive. So x would be 11, 6 plus 5, 6, okay, which is a 16 over 6. You simplify by 2, that gives you 8 third. One solution. Okay, we have 2. The second one, x minus 5, 6 equal to the negative 11, 6. So x is equal to negative 11, 6 plus 5, 6. So that gives you negative 6, 6, which is a negative 1. So we have two solutions, x equal to the 8 third and x equal to the negative 1. Okay, so it takes a little bit more time. You know, if this number is going to be nice and even number, you know, it's going to be less involved, you get no fractions. I just intentionally give you this one so that, you know, you practice. So completing the square method. This is going to be one method. We are going to name it, so you have to follow the instruction and use the completing the square method. But otherwise, you are free. You can use any method you like to get the solution of your equation. Any question? So that was the completing the square. The other one is you are free. You can use quadratic formula. Okay, so the number 6. This is where you cannot use factoring method, anything. You better use quadratic formula. That's it. And number 6. They ask find all solutions. Find all solutions. But they emphasize real or complex. This means if they are going to be complex numbers, you go for it. Okay, find all solutions of the equations, real or complex. This is where you have to use the quadratic formula. Okay, so there are 3 cases. We just put them together. This is going to be 1. It's x squared plus 8x plus 6 equal to 0. Don't look for the factoring. They are going to be arranged so that you are not going to be able to factor it. Okay, quadratic formula for this problem. You get the ABC, okay, find the delta first, and then you substitute, you get the result. It's straightforward, but make sure don't miss any signs. So this is it. A is 1, B is 8, C is 6. Form delta. This is the way I do it. You don't like the delta, you can do it right away, but you better do it, you know, that give you easier formula. So that would be b squared minus 4ac. You substitute, it's going to be 8 squared minus 4ac, 1 times 6, 8 squared would be 64. This would be 24. And yes, 64, 24. So the result is going to be 40. It's positive. So you are not going to get complex numbers for this one. It's not a perfect square, it doesn't matter. Okay, so bring the formula and get it. So x would be negative b plus or minus radical delta over 2a. Substitute. B is 8, so negative 8 plus or minus radical delta, which is 40, over 2a, 2 times 1. We don't want you to use your calculator, so you can only simplify it. 40 is 4 times 10, so that gives you 2 radical 10. So x would be, you see the radical 40 is a radical 4 times 10, which is going to be radical 4, radical 10. It's a 2 radical 10. This is the way we do it in algebra. Okay, so this would be now negative 8 plus or minus 2 radical 10 divided by 2. Now that gives you the chance to simplify it. Okay, if you simplify by 2, x would be negative 4 plus or minus radical 10, the final answer. Okay, so if it's possible, you simplify the radical, remember. They give you radical 40 so that you'll be able to simplify it for us. Okay, any question? So that's a case 1. It would be arranged so that you get a positive number, but you have to do a simplification. Part B, we hope to get the complex numbers for this one. I'm not sure. So this is equal to the negative 1. The point is you have to move everything to one side, remember, to be able to solve it by quadratic formula. So we rewrite it 5x squared minus 4x plus 1 equal to the 0. Make sure make it into the 0. Now quadratic formula again, you cannot factor it, don't try. Okay, so let's see what type of solution we have. A is 5, B is a negative 4, C is 1. Check delta. So your delta would be b squared minus 4ac. If you substitute, so that gives you a negative 4 squared minus 4ac is going to be 4 times, a is 5, c is 1. Okay, negative 4 squared would be 16. And that gives you minus 20, which is a negative 4. Now we got it. It's negative. Since it's a negative, solutions are complex. Okay, there is no real solution, but since they say complex or real, so you have to continue. Okay, so no real solution, just for your information, no real solution. If it was out of this course, you'd be done. But they say complex, so go on, ignore it. It's a negative b plus or minus radical delta over 2a. Substitute. B is a negative 4. So that gives a negative 4. Plus or minus radical delta. Your delta is a negative 4. Divided by 2a, which is going to be 2 times 5. Go on, simplify. This is 4. Remember radical negative 4, we change it to the radical 4i squared. And this is 10. Now 4i squared can be done. It's going to be 4 plus or minus 2i over 10. and you break it because the complex numbers, remember, it must be given in a standard form. So it's a 410 plus or minus 210. Now we get a chance to simplify. You see, you simplify by 2. So your x would be 2/5 plus or minus, okay, that would be 1 plus or minus just 1/5 of I. So this would be the final answer. So you have to simplify it. So that gives you the idea, the type that we need. We want you to apply the quadratic formula. Okay, there are going to be something that's going to be a little bit different. Okay, so just get the delta, simplify it. Okay, then if it's a negative, you get a complex solutions. Otherwise, you have a real solution. Any question? So that is 1, 2. Now the third one. The third one is going to be those rational equation that we talk about it. Okay, you have to get rid of the denominator first to get your result. So this is the last one, part C. Part C, you want to solve this equation. Is a 4 over x minus 4. Okay, plus 4 over x minus 1 equal to 5. You have to remove the denominator. You have to find the common denominator. The common denominator with the product of the factors. We have 2 factors, x minus 1, x minus 4. Okay, so the solution, the least common denominator is x minus 4 times x minus 1. So multiply both sides of the equation by this quantity. So it's x minus 4 times x minus 1. Okay, you times it by 4 over x minus 4. That's the first one. Okay, plus, you repeat it again. X minus 4 times x minus 1 times it by, okay, you times it by 4 over x minus 1. You repeat the same thing for the other side. It's going to be 5 times. Okay, 5 times x minus 4 times x minus 1. Any question? Remove the common factors, simplify the leftover. So these 2 would be out. So that gives you 4 times x minus 1. Okay, the second part, these 2 would be out. So that gives you 4 times x minus 4 is equal to, you have nothing to simplify over there. So this is going to be the case. Okay, multiply it, simplify it. So we have to distribute the 4 to the left. That gives us a 4x minus 4. That would be 4x minus 16. On the other side, you have to FOIL it first. Okay, FOIL it, multiply the x inside. That gives you x squared minus x. Then do the 4, negative 4. So it's going to be minus 4x plus 4. Okay, so I use the FOIL method. You have to multiply the 5 inside and simplify. You can take care of the like terms here. 4x and 4x would be 8x. And the negative 4 minus 16 would be negative 20. Equal to multiply. You know, we can multiply, simplify, or just simplify it first. So it's going to be 5 times x squared. You combine the like terms. It's a negative 5x plus 4. Okay, then you have to multiply again. So that gives you what? 5x squared minus 25x plus 20. Now, since we have the x squared, move everything to one side and try quadratic formula or just factoring. So I'm going to change the sign of these, put them to the other side. So I have already 5x squared minus 25x plus 20. So I change the signs here, negative 8x plus 20 equal to 0. That's what I have. It's a 5x squared. 25 and the 8 that give me minus 33x, okay, plus 40 equal to the 0. Okay, and I didn't check, this is a negative 25 and it's a negative 8. Yes, you know, to get this. So this is a quadratic equation. Okay, we cannot factor it, so we cannot simplify it. Just go for the delta to see what type of solution you are going to have. So A is 5, B is a negative 33, and the C is 40. Okay, so you have to form the delta to see what's going on. So delta would be what? Is a B squared. Okay, B squared minus 4AC. So that gives us a negative 33 squared minus 4 times 5 times 40. Okay. So what is going to be this one now? We have to check what is going to be 33 squared. Okay, so it's going to be 33 times 33. So that gives you 1089. Okay, and over here, that gives you 800. Okay, so that is going to be 289. Okay, so delta is going to be 289. I think it's, let's see if it is 17 times 17. Yes, it's a perfect square. It's a 17 squared, so it's a good one. Okay, so eventually x is equal to negative b plus or minus radical delta over 2a. You substitute, this is one of the problem, I think one of similar to your assignment, or it's one of them. Okay, negative b would be negative 33 and plus or minus the square root of 289 over 2a, which is a 2 times 5. So the top would be a positive 33, and this is going to be plus or minus 17 over 10. So that's your x. Okay, two cases. So the cases are going to be 33 plus 17, 33 plus 17 over 10. So that gives you 50 over 10, which is 5. One solution. And the other solution is going to be 33 minus 17. Okay, I write it down over here. So the 33 minus 17 over 10. And this is going to be, okay. So we check this one. That's going to be 7 out of 13, which is going to be 6. Okay, 26, yes, 26 then. That is going to
16?
be 16, yes, 16. Okay, we simplify by 2, so that gives us 8/5. So x equal to the 8/5 is one solution, and x equal to the 5 is going to be the other one. So eventually this is going to be the solution of your equation, okay? You want to be patient to go through one of these. So we give you one quadratic and one rational as a question number 6. There you are. Any question? So you have the take home. It's very nice take home one. We have it. It's very similar to this one. So you better check it, to be quick for the quiz. Okay, the take home one is optional, and you can email me and we give you 2 points. There are going to be 8. You can collect 10 points out of this. Okay, then the assignments I've already posted, 5 problems from each section. And you come for the quiz would be posted as an assignment on the canvas. You just take that, you can print it if you like, or otherwise write the solution on your own paper, take a picture, change it to the PDF file, go back to the canvas and submit it over there. Okay, we are going to be on Zoom. You have to come to the Zoom with your camera on. Okay, and then we give you the quiz. We give you enough time to be able to do it. Okay, that's it. Any question? So we have no class on Monday. Okay, so we are going to see you on Wednesday for the quiz. If you have any question, anything, you can email me. Okay. Any question? So take care. Let's see what's the question. Okay. You ask for what is equal to. I don't know what your question is. Okay. So just take care. Okay, and see you on Wednesday. Okay, have a good night.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye. Have a good night. Take care. Bye-bye.